Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel, where I'm always breaking down the hot sports topics of the day. My name is Mike. I'm continuing my NCAA Tournament Sweet 16 previews and predictions with the game out of the South region, the Michigan Wolverines, the number 4 seed, taking on the top seed, Kansas Jayhawks. Kansas got to this game by way of a round of 32 win versus North Carolina. They pulled away in the second half to beat Carolina. Kansas obviously champions of the Big 12, no stranger to moments and games like they'll come across here in the Sweet 16 matchup down in Arlington in the South region. And if you haven't watched Kansas play, they feature a lot of athletes. They feature Ben McLemore, one of the best shooters in the nation, and certainly one of the best freshmen in the nation as well. Okay, they also feature a shot blocker, defensive stud inside in Jeff Withey. One thing they don't have is a steady, consistent point guard. But they make up for that with a lot of 2s and 3s that are slashing athletic guys that can clamp down on you defensively, and obviously can really hurt you in transition as well. Kansas is a streaky team. We saw that in the regular season. They had a couple dreadful weeks, including like a week where they lost to TCU and followed it up with another loss later in the week. So they're capable of putting out stinkers, no doubt about it. But a lot of teams in this tournament are not consistent. That's sort of the story of college basketball this year. But I like, Bill Self is obviously a tested tournament coach. His teams these guys, a lot of them have experience in big games. So look for a solid effort from Kansas in this one. As far as how they match up with Michigan, I think it's going to be a big deal that they don't have a point guard in this game. Because when you have Michigan that obviously runs Trey Burke at you, and that obviously can lock down guys on the perimeter with guys like Tim Hardaway Jr. I think Kansas has the overall edge in athleticism on the perimeter, but they don't have a point guard that is nearly the match for a guy like Trey Burke. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out and defend him. Kansas does have an advantage in the middle, though. Although Mitch McGary had a career game in the round of 32 for Michigan, I still look for them to sort of go inside to Withey and establish him early, because I think that's where their advantage is in this matchup. For Michigan, this is the first Sweet 16 appearance Michigan's making since 1994. I know that's hard to imagine, but they made their last Sweet 16 appearance after Chris Webber left, when they still had the other 4 of the Fab Five. They made the Sweet 16 that year. That was the last time they've made the Sweet 16. They're obviously led by all-world point guard Trey Burke. He's joined in the backcourt by Tim Hardaway Jr., who's certainly a stud in his own right. On the offense and defensive ends. You saw them in the game against Virginia Commonwealth. Virginia Commonwealth was a team that liked to press, liked to get up and down. And if you're going to press a guy like Trey Burke and all the complementary parts he has around him with Michigan, it's probably going to be a tough day, and that's exactly what it was for VCU, as Michigan really took it to them, attacked the press. And as far as this game goes, I think Michigan's going to go as Trey Burke goes. He had 18 points and 8 assists in the round of 32. I think he'll be playing. Kansas, again, as I said before, does not have a true point guard. And it's going to be a big deal here. The Michigan outside shooters, I think are going to be a big factor, whether it's Stauskas or whether it's Hardaway Jr. Are they able to knock down their open shots? And Mitch McGary, look, he's sort of a little bit of a revelation here for Michigan, having started less than a handful of games during the regular season. He had a great game against VCU. But let's face it, VCU does not have the inside presence that a team like Kansas has. So how does McGary come out? I mean, at the very least, they need him to give Michigan, they need him to give his team energy as he's given them in the first 2 games. You notice a very big difference in the way Michigan plays when McGary is in there giving them the constant energy and the production, let's face it, that he's given them the last 2 games. You want a key for Michigan in this game? Watch Glenn Robinson III. He's like a little bit of a slasher type. Should be able. We'll see if he can match the slashers of a Kansas. I think that's gonna be if Michigan can somewhat match up with Kansas from an athletic point of view, I think it's going to give them an incredible chance to win this game. These two teams although one's a 1 seed and one's a 4 seed, I think if you watch college basketball this year, you can agree these teams were pretty much about equal, and the spread reflects that. Kansas just a 2-point favorite here. And I think in the end, I think Trey Burke is just a lot better than any of the guards from Kansas. I think they're going to have a tough time checking him. I think Michigan will be able to be good enough inside. Okay, and Kansas's depth I don't think will overwhelm Michigan like many people think. I like Michigan +2 to beat Kansas and move on to the Elite Eight here in the South region. Again, I just think that in the end, Michigan's backcourt play will mean more than Kansas maybe dominating on the front line. Just how I see the game going. Let me know what you guys think. Hit me up in the YouTube comments. Hit me up on Twitter at SNewsAnalysis. Guys, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I not only be previewing every NCAA tournament game from here on out, but I do 5-10 sports talk videos a day. A lot about the NFL, Major League Baseball, and obviously college sports as well. So be sure to subscribe. Thanks again for listening, and have a great night.